Bloody hell. Gotta be with the police. It's only just been Halloween, but like, got me. I saw a couple of videos about like the best monsters, and they're the usual: Frankenstein, Ghost,
Dracula has to be somewhere in there.
the Wolfman.
The Wolfman.
You know, we've got a few that I reckon a lot of people might like. Be like, oh, I didn't expect that one. We don't have a name for him because I looked it up and it was like the Nothing. But I swear there was a name that he had.
I am the Morgue.
I'd have to go back and watch it. I've got it at home.
I don't want to watch it because of this fucking one creature and this one scene. Because the statues were scary. The giant ice and sand monsters, they were fucking scary. And going through the emotional trauma of losing the horse in the mud. And then seeing this giant turtle, and then seeing, you know, like...
There were so many monsters in there, but if
the wolf was inside of this hole in the wall, remember? And you see its eyes...
And they're chasing the chase. Remember, Falcor saved him from the swamp, and the wolf is coming for him.
Oh, yeah.
And he just almost grabs him.
He's like a dire wolf. He's got a giant head. And he speaks.
Foolish boy.
And the actor that they got to do the voice is just so creepy.
Don't you know anything about Fantasia?
The way he talks, and you know that last scene where he's hiding in that little hole. You know that's the one that you remember as a kid. Watching it as he's watching, they're having this really interesting and complicated conversation.
But why is Fantasia dying then?
Because people have begun to lose their hopes.
The world is ending, and this wolf is still there, ready to kill him. As soon as he turns his back on him. And
even the Jim Henson design, like it's tangible. You know, it's not a fucking CGI wolf.
No,
that was
it's
made right
sitting
now.
there looking at you, this big giant wolf's head.
And you, whoever you are, can have the honor of being my last victim.
The way they presented this wolf, that you didn't really get to see it. It was done in a really nice monster way.
Yeah.
In the sense that you didn't really get to see it. Even when he was chasing him, there was little flashes of this thing, this black shape coming through the woods, coming after him. You didn't really get to see the whole thing as one big giant wolf, I think, until right at the end. And it was literally just a flash.
Yeah.
As it went for him at the last moment.
That's right. It lunges at him, and I remember like
Stab. And he might have to roll him off him,
That's right. And I remember as a kid watching a kid's film and seeing blood streaming down his arm and go, oh, this is pretty cool. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. Now, on number 4 for me...
Yes.
But we were talking about Conan, and we were talking about an honourable mention, the monster with the horn. That's in Conan the Destroyer.
Yes.
Now, without getting too much into like which one was a better film, but the original one, when I didn't think about this, one of the most vile villains in film history, and I didn't think of it straight away because it's James Earl Jones and he's humanoid, but he turns into this snake in this one scene, a big fucking snake. But the scene itself that's around that moment, I remember being kind of like disgusted by this pit of like... First you get all this kind of like the kitchens where all these bodies are getting cut up and the Arnold Schwarzenegger and the others that are kind of like slipping through, and he's got all these kind of like, you know, the Arnie Schwarzenegger like body paint makeup, you know,
and
the black and then they
cult worshippers,
the cult worship, and then they go into this like it's like a sleaze pit of like pure, like everyone's just fucking and eating cannibalism, and he's just sitting there in the middle of it all, James Earl Jones, and he's this kind of like... I remember in the books, there was this hint of a race from Atlantis and stuff like that, and they were kind of described as being like a mix of races, so that they weren't black, they weren't white, they were a mix.
Yeah.
So they're like dark skin and piercing blue eyes. And I think that was the basis for when they wanted to get James Earl Jones, because he fitted that description.
He fitted that description.
And his fucking voice.
Intensity in that voice.
I gave you this.
And so young. He's so young back in those days. He just looks like a brother. You know, he doesn't look like the wise old man with the tight curly hair.
No,
Come to me, my child.
When he turns into this fucking snake, it's just like it just tops this whole, and then he just slithers off into this little hole. It just topped the whole kind of monstrous feeling of that whole scene for me. And the thing is, like, as a villain, when you think of villains, you're always curious about what is their actual ultimate purpose. He alludes in the film to Arnold Schwarzenegger, to Conan, that like when he was younger, he just wanted to go and fuck everything up and just take everyone's steel.
There was a time, boy, when I searched for steel. And steel meant more to me than gold or jewels.
And then the riddle of steel was, you know, like the power of steel to be able to cut through a body, and you know, he was obsessed with that. But then, you know, he reflected on that as being kind of like childish in his villainy, and then he just now he's just is purely about just controlling people
and control and power and that sort of stuff. A more evolved evil.
Yeah.
That is strength, boy. That is power.
What about you? If you've got like a number 4.
I would probably put the Balrog over James Earl Jones as a snake.
What is this new devilry? A Balrog.
That moment where it comes out and the light's on fire and you've got Gandalf standing on the bridge and
The music's kind of like starting to be, you got those heavy drums. The Maori choir.
You don't really,
the males going, oh.
That whole scene sort of builds towards it, and it doesn't disappoint. You know, you have a great fight with this rock troll or a mountain troll or whatever.
He was like the semi-boss in the video game.
Yeah. And now you got the real fight coming up. But just, it looked good. It was impactful. It didn't let you down. And just for a big monster, if we're talking about monsters, that is a monster. Yeah. A big, giant, flaming rock thing, whatever. Demon.
Fucking, like...
Whatever.
Upright dragon with horns like a sheep and... And look, Gandalf, when he looked at it, he knew he was in for a fucking fight.
Yes. Ian McKellen played off that, really beautifully. And then obviously, Ian McKellen's death, or Gandalf's death there, spoiler alert.
Can you quickly tell us how you got fucking rolled by your friend about Gandalf's death?
Little bastard.
Because you read the books and then you stopped.
I read the books and I stopped because I love Gandalf.
Dark fire will not avail you. Flame of Udun.
Cool. He's got a great sense of humour. He blows shit up all the time.
Yeah.
He's really fun. He smokes.
Smokes fucking...
Even though I don't smoke and I don't find that cool, but he is very cool when he does it. It's all good. But he dies. He falls down a big hole. And I was literally sitting with my friend who was a big Lord of the Rings fan. He's read the books 10 times by then, or more, I don't know. Big fan. And I'm sitting there going, he falls down a bloody hole. It's horrible. I can't watch it. I'm done. I'm not reading anymore. Gandalf's dead. And the little bastard never told me that Gandalf came back.
And you didn't find out until you saw the
films?
I
watched the films and went, Gandalf comes back? What?
You fell through fire and water.
And this guy would have known, obviously, that Gandalf comes back.
Of course he knew. I asked him about it and he's like,
they're touchy people, man, with the fans of the Lord of the Rings.
But I'm like, okay. So I actually sat down, after watching the films, I sat down and watched read the books.
Did you like, just quickly, did you like the books better than the film?
No. Too much dancing and singing.